Hello students, today I am going to start your fourth chapter light energy and I am going to explain the next topics under this chapter. So dear students, I had already started this chapter in my previous video, and in that video I had explained you the concept of light energy, the concept of reflection of light and also the laws of reflection. And today I am going to start this important topic, plane mirror, and it is on your page number 64. Okay, there are some examples are also given to you that are related to the reflection of light. I will explain all these examples to you also, but after explaining this concept. So you have to see this concept first of all, and you have to understand this concept first of all, and after that I will explain you the examples also that are related to the reflection of light. So you just see that which topics I am going to explain here. You just read these topics from your book. Okay, now the first topic is a plane mirror. Okay. Now what is a plane mirror? We are using the mirrors at our home. Why we are using mirrors at our home? Generally we use the mirrors to see a reflection or simply to see our image. We are using the mirrors, and simply we call these mirrors are looking mirrors or simply mirrors. But in the case of physics, all these mirrors are called plane mirrors. Okay, first of all, what is the meaning of the plane? Plane means a fully flat surface. Means the fully flat surface is called a plane surface. You can take the example of this blackboard also. It is also a flat surface. So like the same way you can see the surface of the mirror also, that is also flat. But in the case of mirror, the surface of the plane is very regular surface. Means there are no any irregularities in the case of plane mirror. Means the surface of the mirror is totally flat, fully leveled and plane. So that is why it is called a plane mirror. So okay, now the next question is how this plane mirror is formed or how this plane mirror is made. I will explain you the physics behind this plane mirror also from this explanation. You have to see this one. Okay, I had made the diagram here. It is a diagram of the plane mirror. You can see first of all how this plane mirror is used. It has three layers. You can see it has three layers. In the first layer we are using a very thin glass sheet. Simply we are just using a glass sheet. Very thin glass sheet is used here, although it looks like little bit thick because of I just made the diagram here, just a broader diagram I made here to explain you clearly. So this is a very thin glass sheet is used here. This glass sheet is silvered from this end, silvered or coated with aluminium also. So it can be silvered with silver or coated with aluminium coating. So then this layer is showing that then it is coated with the opaque substance. Why this is coated with the opaque substance? Because of when the light rays are falling over here on this reflecting surface, then it is preventing that the light cannot pass through it. Means this opaque substance is preventing the light to passes from it. So that is why it is coated with the opaque substance. So like this way, this is a thin glass sheet, then it is silvered or coated with aluminium, then it is coated with some opaque substance. So this portion, so this area is called the reflecting area, where we generally see our image or the images of the objects. So this is the reflecting portion, means the reflecting surface of the mirror. And the next point is when we are drawing the ray diagrams, when we are explaining the concept that how the image is formed in the case of plane mirrors, that time we make the diagram of the plane mirror also. That time we make the diagram of the plane mirror like this way. You can see I had also made the two different diagrams which representing the plane mirror. In the first case, generally we are just making a simple line and then we just shading the below part of this line. So like this way we can show the plane mirror, or we are also using a simple line and then the inclined lines like this. With the help of these inclined lines we are also representing the plane mirrors. So in the case of physics, when we are drawing the diagrams, when we are drawing the diagram of the plane mirror, that time we can use this diagram or we can use this one. Means both are representing the plane mirror. So okay, now the next topic is reflection of light from a plane mirror. It is a very important point, very important topic also. You have to see this one carefully. First of all, I had explained you that what is a plane mirror or how this plane mirror is represented. So this is a plane mirror, as I already explained you that how we can represent this one. Okay, now from this point we are going to learn that how the reflection takes place in the case of plane mirror. Means when the light rays are falling on the plane mirror, then how the reflection takes place. So first of all, you can see here, suppose here is a point P. See carefully, here is a point P, and suppose a light ray is falling from this point P on this plane mirror. You can see this light ray is falling at an angle of 90 degree. So this shows angle of 90 degree. So means when the light ray is falling on this plane mirror at an angle of 90 degree, then the light ray after falling this plane mirror, after striking this plane mirror, it follows the same path when it returned back, because of you know that the plane mirrors are very good reflector. This plane mirror reflect most of the part of the light back again. So that is why when the light ray is falling, at an angle of 90 degree, that time after striking here, it returns back on the same path, means it follows the same path. So you have to understand this thing. When the light ray is falling at an angle of 90 degree, that time after striking it, then it returns back by the same path. It follow the same path. But here important thing is, if the light ray is falling, means the incident ray is falling less than angle of 90 degree. Suppose we are just taking when the light ray is falling from this direction, means from this point P, here you can see just it is falling at an angle of 30 degree. So you can see this is an incident ray, you can take a point O also. So when the light ray is falling at an angle less than 90 degree, suppose it is falling at an angle of 30 degree, then it follows the law of reflection. So I had already explained you the law of reflection. You can see this is an incident ray, right? Light ray is falling here, then it gets reflected back by the plane mirror, but this time it follows this path. Because of the light ray is falling from here at an angle of 30 degree, and it get reflected by the same angle, means it also get reflected by the angle of 30 degree. So this is called the law of reflection, means the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection both are same in this case. So here important thing is only this, when the light ray is falling at an angle of 90 degree, then it get reflected by the same path, it follows the same path. But if the light ray is falling less than of 90 degree, means the angle of incidence is here 30 or 40 or 60, you can take any angle, then it follows the laws of reflection, means light ray is falling from this direction after striking at an incidence point, then it get reflected back by the same angle, means it get reflected back at an angle of 30 degree. So this is the law of reflection, or this is the reflection of light. So I had explained you how the reflection takes place in the case of a plane mirror, means when the light rays are falling on the plane mirror, then how the reflection is taking place. So okay, now I am going to explain you the next topic, that is ray diagram. Okay, I had just now explained you the concept of reflection of light in the case of plane mirror. Now I am going to explain you that how the image is formed in the case of plane mirror. Before understanding this point, we have to understand this point also, ray diagram. So what is a ray diagram? So generally when we are showing that how the image is formed in the plane mirror, that time we use the ray diagram also. So a ray diagram is a drawing of the path taken by the light to form an image of an object. So what is the meaning of this thing? That is, we cannot see the light, means we cannot see the light rays, and that is why when we are making the diagrams, we are just drawing the imaginary lines like this. So these imaginary lines showing the path of the light, means the path taken by the light, this is shown by these lines, and these lines are called the ray diagrams, or simply the rays. So with the help of explanation, you can easily understand, which I am going to explain you now. So you just understand this time what is the ray. Ray is only the representing only the path taken by the light. Suppose the light is coming from this direction, that time, or simply the light rays are coming from this direction, that time we cannot see the light rays, we can see only the object. But when we are drawing the diagram to explain the concept, that time just we are using these rays like this, we are using the simple lines, and these lines are showing the path of the light, means the light is taking this path, so it is shown by these rays. So that is why it is written here, a ray diagram is a drawing of the path taken by light. So simply a ray diagram is a drawing of the path taken by the light to form image of an object. So that is why the ray diagrams are used. Now I am going to explain you that how the image is formed in the case of plane mirror. So firstly, in the first point I am going to explain you how the image is formed of a very small object. So you can see the ray diagram in the case of a point object. Point object means a very small object. Means a very small object like this. You can take a point object. So now you can see, first of all you have to understand this one, and when I will explain you with the help of this explanation, you can also read from the book, then you can easily understand the whole concept. First of all you have to see this one only, that suppose this is a mirror. So first of all you have to understand that this is a mirror, and suppose we are placing here a point object, means this object is here at a point O. So that is why O representing the object, and we are seeing this object from here. Of course, that is why I had made here I also. So with the help of I we can see the things, and I made here point Q. So at a point Q we are watching this object in the plane mirror. Then of course if we are watching from here and the object is here and plane mirror is here, where we can see the image of the object? Of course here we know that generally when the object is exactly in the front of the plane mirror, that time we see the object or the image of the object inside the plane mirror, which is exactly at the same distance, which is the distance of the object from the plane mirror, and the image is formed exactly at the same distance inside the plane mirror. Means the distance of this image from the plane mirror is equal to the distance of the object from the plane mirror. So if we are standing here and object is placed here and here is a plane mirror, then obvious we can see the reflection of this object here. So with the help of ray diagram I will explain you that how we are seeing this one. So to explain the concept, we are using just only two light rays, this light ray and this light ray. Although there are millions of light rays are falling on this plane mirror, but to explain the concept we have to use only two light rays, this light ray and this light ray. So you can see this light ray which is falling over here on this plane mirror, it is falling at an angle of 90 degree, and we know that when the light ray is falling at an angle of 90 degree, then it returns back by the same angle, means it followed the same path. So that is why it will get reflected by this plane mirror in the same direction like this. And another incident ray is falling over here at a point P on this plane mirror. You can see OP is an incident ray, and this incident ray is falling on this plane mirror, and after striking this plane mirror it follows the laws of reflection, means it followed by it get reflected by the same angle, means the angle of reflection will be same to the angle of incidence. So it means when the light ray is falling on this point P OP, that time this plane mirror is get reflected this light ray. So that time this light ray is reflected back, means when the light ray is falling over here, then it reflected by this path. So means that time the angle of reflection means the angle of reflection and the angle of incidence both are same. So now we are standing here. So the human mind, listen carefully, it is very important. Now if we are standing here and the light ray is striking this plane mirror, and then it followed by this path, it get reflected back by this plane mirror and it reaches to our eyes, that time human mind cannot perceive this zigzag path, means this path the human mind cannot perceive, means when the light rays are falling on our eyes and that time we cannot perceive this zigzag path, that time our mind is extending this light ray in the backward direction like this, and where these two lines are meeting, means this light ray which is falling at an angle of 90 degree, and it is also when we are extending in the backward direction, and this light ray which is falling in our eyes, we are also extending these light ray in the backward direction, and when these light rays are joining here, that time we thought that the object is here, means that time we see the image of this object here. So that is why we are watching, we are seeing the images of the different objects into the plane mirror. So I hope this is clear to you. Only the thing is you have to understand, when the light ray is falling at an angle of 90 degree, it get reflected back, and human mind is also extending this one in the backward direction, and the other light ray which is falling on this plane mirror, when reaches to our eyes, that time human mind cannot perceive this path, this zigzag path, that time human mind extend the light ray also in the backward direction, and when the human mind is extending the light ray in the backward direction, and where these two lines are meeting, there we see the image of the object. So that is why we see the image here, which is exactly at the same distance, that is equal to the distance of the object from the mirror, and the distance from the image to the mirror is also same. So means we see exactly at the same distance the image of the object. So okay, now I am going to explain you that how the image is formed in the plane mirror of a limited size. So we know that all the things that are around us, some has a limited size, some has a big size. So but although the objects have different sizes, but the image of all objects are formed in a plane mirror. So now this time I am going to explain you in the second point, ray diagram in the case of an object of limited size. Limited size means when the object has some limited size. So you can see here, that is why this object is placed here. It is a kind of an arrow. So you can see this is the object. This OP is showing that object is placed here. Again the same case we are taking. We are seeing the object from here. We are watching the object from here, and this is a mirror is placed here. So you can see the object is placed in the front of this mirror, and we are watching the object from here. Of course, where we can see the image, if the object is placed here, here is a plane mirror, and if we are watching from here, then exactly we can see the image of the object in the plane mirror here. So now I am going to explain you that how we can understand that how the image is formed in this case. Now this time, because the object is little bit big, so that is why we are taking 3 light rays. So you can take again this first light ray. This light ray is incidenting at an angle of 90 degree on this plane mirror, and you know that when the light ray is falling at an angle of 90 degree, then it get reflected by the same angle. So it get reflected back into the same direction like this. Now this time we are taking 2 light rays are falling here. This is light ray, this first light ray, and this second light ray. This light ray is falling here on this plane mirror at a point P1, and when this light is falling here at an angle of means at a point of P1, so of course this light ray is falling at a point P1, and here you can see angle of incidence is I1. Of course it will follow the same law of reflection, then this angle of reflection is also same. You can write down this R1, angle of incidence is I1 and angle of reflection is R1, both angles are same, so it get reflected by the same angle. So like this way, and you can take this light ray also. This light ray is falling at a point P2, so you can take here this at point P2, angle of incidence is I2 and angle of reflection is also R2. So means when the light ray is falling here on this point P2, then by the same angle, at the same angle it get reflected back. So now we are here, means the observer is here, and when these 2 light rays are falling on the eyes of the human eye, that time human mind again cannot perceive this zigzag path. Means the human mind cannot perceive that 2 light rays are coming from this direction. So that is why when the plane mirror is here, when the regular reflection takes place, when the light rays are falling on this eye, that time in the mind of the observer extending these 2 light rays into the backward direction like this. So you can see this light ray is also extended in the backward direction, and where these light rays are meeting, exactly this human mind is seeing the image there. So it means when these 2 light rays are reflected by this plane mirror, when these 2 light rays are falling on the human eye, that time human eye cannot perceive this path. That time human eye extended the light rays in the backward direction, and exactly we see the image of the object here. So in this case also, the distance from this point O to T means the distance of the object from the mirror is exactly equal to the distance of the mirror to the image, means Ti. So this is the concept, this is the physics, that how the image is formed in the case of plane mirror. So okay, now after understanding that how the image is formed in the case of plane mirror, now we have to understand, now we have to read some characteristics of the image also. So you can see the characteristics of the image formed by the plane mirror. So there are some important characteristics that we have to see now. The first important characteristic is the distance of the image is equal to the distance of the object. So I had already explained you through the diagram that the distance of the image is exactly equal to the distance of the object from the plane mirror. You can take the example of also at your home. You can, if you are standing at a distance of 3 meters in the front of the plane mirror, then your image exactly formed at a distance of 3 meter inside the plane. So basically the distance of the image from the plane mirror is equal to the distance of the object from the plane mirror. So the second important point is size of the image is equal to the size of the object. It is also very important, and generally we observe this thing also. The size of the image which is formed inside the plane mirror exactly equal to the size of the image also. So that is why the size of the image is equal to the size of the object. So the third point is image is obtained when the reflected ray is extended backward. So just now I had explained you that how the image is obtained or how the image is formed when the light rays are reflected rays are falling on the human eye. That time the human eye cannot perceive the zigzag path. That is why that time human eye extend in the backward direction the rays, and where the light rays are meeting, where we obtain the image, or generally we see the image in the plane mirror. So that is why it is written here, image is obtained only when the reflected rays extended backward, and where these light rays are meeting, exactly there we can see the image. Now the fourth point is, and this point is very important, fourth point is image appears laterally inverted in the plane mirror. So what is the meaning of this thing? So generally you observe the thing when you are watching your image in the plane mirror, you can observe the left side of the object appears to be right in the image, and the right side of the object appears to be left in the image. So that is why you have ever noticed that the ambulance, this word ambulance is written on the ambulance van like this way. Why? Because of the vehicles which are exactly running in the front of the ambulance, and those in that vehicles the persons, when the persons see through their rear view mirror, that time these wording appears to be like this in the plane mirror, and then they can easily read that the ambulance is coming behind them, and then they can easily give the side to the ambulance. So like this way the image of the object is laterally inverted in the case of plane mirror. Okay, now the fifth characteristic is a plane mirror doesn't give vertical inversion. So a plane mirror doesn't give any vertical inversion. What is the meaning of the vertical inversion? Vertical inversion means when we see top of the object on the bottom side in the image, and the bottom of the object we see on the top side in the image. So like this way it is called the vertical inversion, but plane mirror doesn't give this kind of vertical inversion. So the next point is colors of the objects remain same in the image found by a plane mirror. Of course the plane mirror cannot changes the colors of the object also, means we see exactly the same image of the object and also the same colors of the object inside the plane mirror. Okay, now the next point is uses of plane mirror. So after understanding that how the image is formed, now we are going to understand what are the uses of the plane mirror. So these uses are given on your page number 63. So I am just reading the points from the book because of these points are very easy. So you can see from the book also. The first point is the plane mirror is used as a looking mirror for hairdressing, makeup, shaving and so on. We know that how we are using the plane mirrors at our home for different uses, for hairdressing, for shaving and for other uses also we are using the plane mirror. And the second point, it is used as a simple rear view mirror by the drivers of the vehicles to see the objects at his back. We know that on the vehicles we are using the plane mirrors also. On the vehicles we are using the plane mirrors to see the traffic behind the vehicle, and that time we use the plane mirror as a rear view mirror. And the next is, it is used by the optician while testing the eyesight to double the length of the small testing room. We know that generally when we go to the opticians for the checking of the eyesight, that time we can see that in their room they use a plane mirror also, just to increase the length of the room. And also the next is, solar cookers use mirrors to focus the reflected ray of light on the food. So you can see the solar cookers, in the case of solar cookers also plane mirrors are used, but this time these mirrors are used to focus the light rays on the food. When the light rays are falling on the mirrors, that time these mirrors reflecting the light rays and these light rays are falling on the food. By doing this we use the plane mirrors also in the case of solar cooker. Next is, toys like kaleidoscope make use of plane mirrors to have multiple patterns of bangles also. So you can see the kaleidoscopes. When we rotate the kaleidoscopes, that time plane mirrors are used. They are inclined at some angles and they form different pattern of images also. So the sixth is submarines make the use of the plane glasses to make periscopes used for viewing objects above the sea water. So it is a very important point. I will explain to you through the explanation. You can see in the case of submarines, periscopes are used. So you can see this is a water, and you know that this is the water, and submarines are running inside the water like this. So here you can see, and suppose the persons who are here, they want to see what is exactly on the surface of this ocean or the sea. That time they use the periscope. What is the purpose of the periscope? Periscope is made like this. So like this way the periscope is made, and you can see this is the rough diagram of the periscope, and on this periscope the glasses are used, the plane mirrors are used like this way. These mirrors are formed at an angle of 45 degree. They are fixed at an angle of 45 degree like this way. So when the light rays are falling, means suppose something is here, any object is here, when the light ray is falling on this, and after striking this light ray on this plane mirror, it get reflected back, and it reflected like this way in this direction. And when this light is falling over here, and then again this light is reflected by this plane mirror, and then it reaches to the eyes of the observer here, and then the person can see what is exactly the object is here from here. So by doing this way, in the case of submarines, the simple glass mirrors or the simple plane mirrors are used. So you can see from your book, the seventh point is during haircut you can see backside of your head in the rear mirrors fixed in the barber shop. So we use the plane mirrors in the barber shop also. It is very easy. And the next eighth point is microscopes have plane mirrors to reflect light on the slides to be viewed. It is very important. We use the plane mirrors also in the case of microscope. How? If we want to see an object, and with the help of the plane mirrors we reflect the light rays on the objects, and then these objects clearly viewed in the microscope. So like this way we use the plane mirrors in the case of microscopes also. And the last point is it is used on the scale for measuring instruments to have correct reading of the needle of the instruments. Means you can see several instruments. You can see the example of the speedometer also. So in the case of speedometer, only a glass is used on the top of the speedometer. Why? If the top of the object is made by some opaque object, then we cannot see the reading, and that is why even in this case we use the glass, and through the glass we can exactly see the needles, and we can exactly see the reading on the speedometer. So okay students, I think this is enough for this week. You have to read this one only, which I had explained through this video, and also your unit tests are going to be started. So that is why you have to do the revision of your third chapter also, because of you know that your test will be from the third chapter, and along with that preparation you have to read this one also. And still if you have any confusion, then you can call me also. You have my contact number, and you can also subscribe my channel to learn physics and maths. Okay, till then, learn physics and stay healthy. Thank you.